Is there a part of you that feels like you're the last single woman on the planet? Like you look at all your friends, they're all married. All the people you grew up with, they're all married. And there's this part of you that recognizes that, yeah, it's timing and it just hasn't happened for you yet. And there's another part of you that wonders, what is blocking you? Like, what is going on? Are you ever going to find love? Is it some sort of flaw? You've got some sort of internal block or resistance that's standing in the way of you attracting love. And when we're feeling this comparison despair, right? When we look at all these other people who are in relationships, or perhaps how easy it worked for them, and yet we still haven't found love, one of the most important things to notice is our belief system. And specifically, our believing power. What is your degree of believing in the possibility of love for yourself? And one of the things that can help our believing power is to begin to understand, well, what is it that has been at work in me that has maybe been in the way of me finding love? We know for sure that we don't get what we want in this life. We get what we are. How do we know this? Because like attracts like. When you are a match, mindset, heart set, your vibration and your actions. When you're a match for the reality you want, you're a match for the result that you want. There is this future version of you who's in this passionate, connected, respectful, adventurous, fun, joy-filled relationship. In all the possibilities that exist, there is one in which that future version of you exists. As you become a match for that version of you, that means that you believe the things that she believes. That means you feel the way that she feels. That means that you behave in the way that she behaves. You make the choices that she would make. As you become a match for her, you begin to bring that reality right into form. If we're not experiencing that reality, we can look at, okay, where am I disconnected? Where am I out of alignment? One of the primary ways in which we can get out of alignment with this future version of us that's both in love and giving and receiving love freely is when we can notice residual resentment. The parts of us that are resenting the past. The parts of us are resenting the fact that it's taken this long. The parts of us that are resenting maybe what's been caused in us from painful experiences from previous partners. So it's the feeling tone, it's the energy of resentment or guilt or shame. In a practical sense, those energies become like a shield that we carry forward into our relationships. Then the question becomes, well, how do I neutralize those energies and transform them and heal them into the very frequency or the very vibration that I'm wanting to create in terms of my relationship? And the way that you begin to transcend these energies is through healing them. Resentment, shame, guilt are all transformed with the same practice, and that is the practice of forgiveness. In fact, a client of mine recently in the Manifest Your Man course, we were in the section on forgiveness. There's a deep process around forgiveness. She goes, I finally became aware that my resentment for my ex and what he did is the thing that's holding me back. Like I'm still hanging on to that. The challenge is I'm afraid to let it go because I've become identified with my anger. See, anger has its own power to it. When we become so mad at somebody, and that anger is what's initially helped us disconnect from that unhealthy relationship, there can be a fear of releasing the anger because we're afraid of what's on the other side of that anger. There's a fear of we might get sucked back, or a fear that we're not protecting ourselves. And so we keep ourselves trapped with this anger, not letting it go, not realizing that who we're actually hurting is ourselves. And that by the attempt to keep ourselves safe, we actually keep ourselves trapped and keep love away. And so the path to the freedom is to release the resentment through the practice of forgiveness. And so I'll share with you a couple of concepts around forgiveness and then give you a resource if you really want to go deep into removing any blocks that might be in the way of you attracting love. And so when it comes to forgiveness, a couple of really important ideas. Number one is that forgiveness is not something you do for them. It's something you do for yourself. Because holding resentment is like picking up a hot coal and expecting the other person to get burned. Well, all the while holding that coal we are the ones who are burned. Forgiveness is something we're doing for ourselves, recognizing that we're not forgiving the behavior, but we're forgiving the being, because there's a difference between someone's beingness and their behavior. We are not our actions. We are not our choices. We are so much more than that. And the actions and the choices and the behavior can be horrific. It can be horrible. And so you can say no to the behavior and still offer the being, the soul of that person, offer them a blessing. And so the idea is you separate the being from the behavior, and then you say to yourself, I forgive you, the being, for what occurred in the past, and now I free you by wishing you peace, love, and joy, as I wish myself peace, love, and joy. What happens is every time an old anger thought, a resentment thought, a past thought comes up, that part of your brain is firing and is triggering all kinds of emotions that are biochemically cascading and flooding your whole system. You interrupt the thought and you say, no, that was then, and I release it now, and I bless the being, and I offer you peace, love, and joy, as I offer myself peace, love, and joy now, and I set you free. And notice that what you put out comes back. You're offering peace, love, and joy. You're receiving peace, love, and joy. You offer freedom and you give yourself freedom. And this is exactly what happened for this client. I gave her that process. She came back the next week and she goes, Matt, the most amazing thing happened. I was so resistant to forgiving him. But as I started to do this work and forgive him, the next thing that bubbled up was I needed to forgive myself. And I asked her, what was the awareness? What part of you was asking for forgiveness? And she goes, it was the part of me that stayed too long. It was the part of me that didn't speak up when I knew it was mine to speak up. It was part of me that allowed the things to happen that happened when I had the power to change them. And so she had been feeling this self-hatred, this self-critical energy, this guilt around not doing the things that she believed that she could. And so in that moment, recognizing two ideas that can help us. Number one is to remember that we're all doing the best we know how at the given moment. When I first heard that, it was hard for me to accept that because I was like, I know how to do better. But when you actually get down to it, you might know how to do better. It's like imagining lifting 400 pounds, but imagining lifting 400 pounds and actually lifting the 400 pounds, two very different things. Your consciousness and your emotional state might not be strong enough to lift the moment to a level of outcome that you want. And so recognizing that, look, whatever you did in that moment, that's the strength you had. And so to give yourself compassion and give yourself peace. And so you forgive yourself. So anytime a self-loathing thought kicks in, like I should have done this and I should have done that, you surround yourself in love and you say, no, I love and forgive myself for those past actions. And I love and accept myself now completely and fully. And you take a deep breath in. And what will happen is this: the resentment thoughts of the ex, the self-loathing thoughts of yourself, if you've been bathing your biochemistry in those hormones, right? When you think those thoughts, a whole flood of chemicals shifts your system. Your cells actually create these little neuroreceptors on the outside of your cells, and they get hungry for this environment. They want to have the chemical of resentment, the chemical of self-loathing bond to these cells. That's what happens. We get addicted to these states of being. And so when you shift it in the very beginning, what will happen is you might notice an increase in resentments, an increase in self-loathing thoughts, like it'll all kind of flood up. Know this: that is your body cleansing itself. That are these cells that are aching. They're like thirsty or hungry for these little chemicals going, I want more, like I need more resentment. I need more self-loathing. You starve those little receptors, they will wither away and fall off. And then your body will come to this place of stasis. It'll come to this place of peace and balance, and you will be free. You'll be free from the past resentment. You will be freer from the self-loathing. You'll have more self-compassion. And guess what? You will become more in alignment with the version of yourself who's manifesting love. If you would love a resource for this, especially meditations and practices that can really guide you so you don't have to do it alone. I've been asked so often from my clients, can you record a program on this? And so I recorded a program called Break Free. And it's all about breaking free from the lower energies that keep us from aligning with the energy of love. It's a brilliant program. It's actually one of the programs that receives the most raving reviews of anything that we've done. I've put a link below this video. You can check out that link, explore it. You go through not only forgiveness, but other energies that pull us back and try to keep us from love. And I know that as you do, it's absolutely going to expand your heart to a whole nother level. So go ahead, click the link, check that out. And I would love to hear from you. in terms of forgiveness? What's really helped you around the concept of forgiveness, be able to release old resentments? If you're willing to share, post that in the comment section below. And know this, the best is always yet to come. There is a freer, fuller, expanded version of yourself seeking to emerge right now. I see it for you. I'm holding that with you. I appreciate you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.